I was just shocked by how many people were like ready to jump in and tell you what they thought. And so I just like made a comeback video, and this was the first time I ever went viral on TikTok, and this was literally like my third or fourth video.
Welcome back to the Cypress Room, where we dive deep into influencing with integrity. I'm Christina Mascari of Pretty Distressed.
And I'm Meggie Honeycutt from Spark Creative. And welcome back.
Welcome back. It is now our third episode in this room. If you've watched the previous two, you know that we have taken the Cypress Room on the road. We are at the Haven Conference for content creators in DIY and home space. And we are on our third interview, which I'm very, very excited about, because today we have our dear friend.
Yes, we have Dawson Hoppus. So welcome, Dawson.
Hi, so glad to be here.
Yes, we're so glad you're here. So just a little bit about Dawson for you who don't already know who he is.
But you should if you don't.
You should if you don't, for sure.
I agree.
Dawson is better known in the social media world as Dawson DIY, a content creator based out of Austin, Texas. You can find him renovating his newest fixer-upper, #that70sreno on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Dawson.DIY. You also might know him for his renovated smoker house,
Yeah,
which
smoker
is
house. That's how I found
that's
him.
for his OG followers. He loves trying out new projects and sharing the wins and mistakes along the way. Dawson likes to encourage his audience that you don't have to be perfect to do projects, but you have to be willing to try. I love that.
Thanks.
Welcome. We're so glad to have you here.
So glad to be here. This is my first video podcast, so hopefully I do okay.
Yeah, we're working out the kinks.
I know. About like 5 minutes in, you'll get really comfortable and you'll just forget all this stuff is
cool.
here. But every time we do it, we're like, oh my gosh, we're doing this again. Okay, what do we do?
What do we do? Oh, wait, it's just friends chatting.
Yeah,
but when we decided we were going to take the step and the extra effort to try to podcast here from Haven, which I'm really glad we pushed through the fear and decided to do it, because the two interviews we've done so far have been amazing. And I know this one's going to be fun. And you're actually the first person that I reached out to when I knew we were going to do these, because I met you last year at Haven. And I had seen you on TikTok, and I had just organically followed you because there was just something about you that I was like, I really like this guy. I really like these projects. I think you're just so relatable. And I just want to know how you got into this. How'd you get into content creation?
That's a great question. And I feel like I try to answer that almost every day.
Do you?
I don't know. So I actually grew up with like a love for making videos.
Wow.
Just like from a young age, I had a flip camera. Do you know what those are?
Yeah, I do know what those are.
The USB that sticks out of it. And I just had so much fun like running around making little videos with my cousins. And then just growing up, like that kind of progressed into high school, and I would make these weekly update videos for my high school.
No
and
way.
They were over the top. Like 1 week's Mario themed. 1 week is like all these other themes. So
We need to see
We
these.
need some footage. We need some B-roll. What do you guys think?
Oh, those are unlisted on YouTube now.
We will find them.
But so anyways, like I just loved I loved
It's okay.
creating.
You're going to hit it. It'll be fine.
Ever since I was little. And then when I was like picking a major for college, I decided to go for film. And it was so weird because that's not what I do now.
Okay.
In my regular job. But I just loved it so much, and I thought that's kind of like where God was calling me.
Yeah.
And I loved learning film and like all of the storytelling practices and how to do it. But I never thought that it was going to be something else, because at the end of undergrad, I actually switched over to what I do now in my career, which is user experience design.
Okay, that is...
You're going to have to tell us what that is.
Just so you guys are clear, we said Dawson is everybody's favorite 20-something content creator. We're the doubles of the 20s. So tell us about what that is and what it entails.
And I'm sorry if I'm going into too much detail, but I feel like this is...
this is important.
Yeah.
This is important.
So user experience design is really cool. It's kind of the intersection of technology and storytelling.
Oh, cool.
So I have no idea how technology works. No idea. Couldn't tell you. Don't know. But what my job is to kind of figure out like what people need. So I'll do user research calls and like make products that work better for people.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I got from like film into like, I want to help people's stories like in their day-to-day life and like make them better than just like telling a story through film. I wanted to like be a part of shaping their experience every day. So that's kind of like how I shifted out of that, and I thought that I was done with
filmmaking.
Like I thought that was just like, okay, that was kind of like a fun like fact about me, like, oh yeah, I was a film major, but now I'm in tech. So after grad school, I got a job in Austin and I had to move. And ever since I was little, like I've just been following my dad around the house, helping out with projects. And anytime I got like a birthday present or it was cash or something, I told my parents I'm saving for my house. And I would like put this in a little piggy bank. So like there's always been this running joke in my family that like Dawson's been saving for a house forever. And it's true. Like when I
You're such a wise child.
Speak to my 13-year-old. Oh my God.
So when I moved to Austin, I specifically planned it. Like I decided to move when I was able to purchase a house.
Okay, wait. I have to stop you because I love details and the backstory.
Yeah.
And so where did you grow up?
Okay, this is weird. I grew up in California.
Okay.
Then I went to grad school in DC at University of Maryland.
Okay.
And I never moved out of the University of Maryland because my grad school ended in 2020.
Okay.
And like I went home to California for spring break, and then that's when the world shut down that same week. So like all of my stuff was still in Maryland and I couldn't go back. So like my landlord just put all my stuff in my car, and then like my friends shipped my car to me in California.
Oh my gosh.
So that was very weird for sure. So that is like when I moved to Austin, people are like, oh, where are you from? And I was like, well, I kind of moved here from Maryland, but also not.
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had already a job offer to move to Austin like, before that happened.
Okay.
And I was just kind of hanging out in the summer with my family in California.
Okay.
And I was supposed to move earlier in that summer, but everything was shut down and like there wasn't really a reason for me to go quite yet. So I just saved like my money that I was making from that job because I was living at home, and then once I was ready I moved to Austin.
More house funds for you.
Yeah, and then like bought my smoker house.
So how old were you when you bought your smoker house?
24.
24. And you had a full-time job for what, like a year or not even?
Like 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, and so
I knew there was something special about it. You're like blowing my mind right now. Oh
and
my
so
gosh.
when you were looking for a house, were you looking for a fixer-upper? Like, is that what you set out to do, or did it just sort of...
I don't know. So my mom and I took a little trip out to Austin because I had never even been. But it was required that I move there for my job. So we rented an Airbnb for like a week, and we actually looked at apartments because I was planning on just living there for a year and kind of figuring out where I want to be before I bought something. And then I didn't find anything in like fixer-upper-ish, and like the apartments seemed kind of weird because it was such good interest rates at the time. So it was like, I might as well just like try to buy something now rather than rent for a year. So I didn't find anything with my mom. I actually put in an offer on like a townhouse and it fell through, and I was so devastated in the moment, but I think God just had like way better things planned for me because that wasn't really a fixer-upper. And so my mom left, and I actually stayed like an extra week, and I had kind of like pressed pause on like looking for something, and I actually thought I was just going to go back to California for a little bit. And then I texted the realtor again because I was kind of bored. And I was like, maybe I should just check out a few more houses. And then so he scheduled this day of like 10 house tours.
Wow.
And we went on a couple of them, and then I walked into this house that I didn't know was going to be a smoker house. Like it was not in the description. And I didn't even think I saw a link to this house. Like I sent him links to houses I wanted to see, and then he just like added this in, I think. It was a while ago now, so I don't quite remember. But I walked in and I was like, oh.
Oh,
like,
gosh.
This is smoky. Like it was something else. But I could just instantly see it. Like I could just see
the
like
potential.
the potential in it. And at that time, houses were going so fast.
So fast, yeah.
And this one had been on the market for a long time.
Okay.
Because nobody wanted it because it was
right.
nasty.
Need a lot of work.
And so I put an offer in and like it was accepted. And then I just packed up with a suitcase and moved to Austin.
Oh my gosh.
Like
And
a month later. So.
And then did you start creating content immediately on this house? Did you just have a vision?
So yeah, now I guess we're getting back to your first question, which I derailed us from.
That's okay, but this is my kind of interview, Dawson. Maggie's here to reel us back in, so
Okay,
don't
yeah.
worry.
Sorry,
She'll keep us
Maggie.
on track.
Yeah, so that summer, like when I was in California, just hanging out with my family, my sister and I got into flipping furniture. Just for fun. Like
Okay.
we were just like, oh, let's make a couple bucks, like whatever. And I loved doing it. And I was watching a lot of TikToks at the time. And like I had seen a lot of DIY stuff. And I actually filmed a couple of those furniture flips, but never posted it because I was like, I don't know, just intimidated or didn't feel right doing it. And I regret that. Like I wish I had started earlier. But so by the time I got the house, I thought, like I love making little videos. I love like renovating stuff. Like I should just film this and maybe I'll post it, maybe I won't. So I moved in the beginning of November and started just like day one renovating that house. Like 10 minutes after I got the keys, ripping out the carpet.
And you used to have really long hair.
You did.
I just remember that.
Yeah. Like
Where
as
was
long
it
as
down to?
yours.
Yeah.
I donated it. It was
Did you?
I cut 12 inches off. So
Oh my gosh.
it was pretty long.
Have you always had
Yeah.
long hair like that, or was that a COVID thing?
When I moved into the smoker house, it wasn't that long. It
Okay.
was just like
You're
I
like,
don't
this
know.
fits.
It was,
This fits.
it was a little shaggy, and then it just I let it go.
Yeah.
I always had wanted to try that though. Like I'd always wanted to try to donate my hair.
Okay.
So I figured I'm locked up in this house anyways. Like who cares?
Yeah.
So you decided when you started making these videos and doing the storytelling that you were going to focus on TikTok?
No, I didn't post it.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I recorded all these videos. I never posted anything. This is like same thing I did in the summer. Like I just had like this big queue of like all these like random
What was
clips.
keeping you from posting them, do you think?
I think part of it was like being a little scared to do it, but then also I was like in over my head. I had never renovated a house before, and I was living in the house and working full time in the house. So I just like didn't really feel like I was ready to post anything quite yet. And then I went home for Christmas break and I had free time finally. And so I was like, let me just put something together. And so I just put together like a 30-second video. I think it was like a welcome to the smoker house or something. And I edited it. No voiceover, nothing. It just had like one text on the video the whole time. Like it's nothing I would post.
Oh my gosh, I'm
today.
going to go back.
Yeah.
Wait, did you take it down?
No, it's still there.
Okay, it's still there. Okay, I'm going to go look later.
And I posted that late at night, and then I woke up the next morning. There was like 1,000 followers on my TikTok. And I
On
was
the
like,
first video you ever posted?
Yeah, I was
Wow.
like, what's going on here? But it was fun. Like I was like, whoa, people are like actually interested in this. And I don't know if it was because it was a smoker house or probably like a combination of things, but at that point, like I already had this backlog of like projects I had started working on, and I was bored on Christmas break. So I like the same day or maybe like that same week, I started editing together some stuff that I had been doing in my kitchen, and I posted that. And that second video, or maybe it was like third video, I started getting like my first hate comments.
Oh, no.
And I was like, wow, what did I start? Like, maybe this is why I didn't want to do it in the first place.
Okay. How did those make you feel, those first hate comments?
Well, it wasn't like anything about me. It was about a load-bearing wall, which was not load-bearing. So I just want to put this on the record. It was not a load-bearing wall. So
People on the internet know everything, though,
Oh,
Dawson.
yes. Well, that's what I thought was so funny.
Yeah.
Is like, I was just shocked by how many people were like ready to jump in and tell you what they thought. And so I just like made a comeback video. And this was the first time I ever went viral on TikTok, and this was literally like my third or fourth video.
Okay.
I took one of those comments that said like, that's a load-bearing wall, like blah, 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 blah. And then the video started, and it's just like my face with that comment above it. And it's like, I should have listened. And then I just like stitched it over to this random Google Photos of like a house that had collapsed. and that was at like the height of that, like, oh no, my table is broken audio on TikTok. So I like had that on the video. And then people thought my house collapsed. And so that was like, that's really what like started my TikTok, was this like random
That's
response.
So wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come back from Christmas break and you have to start working on the house again, and you have to go to your job again. At what point, like, where was your TikTok at that point?
Yeah, I think by February I had like 18,000 followers on TikTok, which I was like, what? I don't even know like 100 people. Like, how could there's this many people be following me?
And just for reference, how long ago was this? Was this just 2 years ago or less than that?
This was 2021.
Wow.
Yeah, so like a little over 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I also posted that first video, like my very first video on Instagram, but I didn't really do anything with Instagram for like my first year. It was like more focused on TikTok. But yeah, like it was kind of the perfect storm for me. Like I had discovered that I really loved making these random little videos, and I also loved renovating, and I knew no one in Austin.
Okay.
Because I had just moved by myself and I had lots of free time. So I was like, yeah, I'll respond to all these comments. Like, sure, let's jump in. And like, it was just like this like perfect little like setting for me to kind of like get started telling stories. And they're not good, the first videos, but
but you were learning something every video you put up. Like, I think you're just a good storyteller. And obviously you've always had a passion for storytelling. So I think that's one of the pieces. But then you saying that you had the time to interact with people, like you created a community by giving people that space and that time in your life, and they felt really invested in what you were doing and felt invested in the house too. Like a long-term project like that, I think all of us felt very invested
it's a journey,
in the smoker
almost.
house.
You're taking them on a journey. And tell us, okay, so you start out, you're kind of doing it for fun. Tell us about the point where you realized, oh, I could make money from this. Like, and how did that shift how you spent your time? And then how did you manage doing a full-time job in this? Because I think a lot of people out there have that, they want to do that, but they don't know how
to do it,
to manage both and do it well.
I don't know either. Okay, so two big things happened that first summer of 2021. I got my first like deal or whatever for a bidet. And as my friend said, you got to start at the bottom. So I was so uncomfortable with that. Like at first, like I have never done an ad, but this bidet company wants to send me something for free for like a video, and like I didn't know anything about influencer marketing or anything, so I was like, okay, let's send it. So I mean, that video did good. Like my first ad, I think went like over 100K views.
I mean, who doesn't want to watch a video about a bidet? It's kind of shocking, funny, also intriguing.
Yes.
So that was like the first time that I realized that I had something to offer other companies, and it was a bidet. And then I was like, well, there's so many other companies I could work for that I know more about than a bidet. Yeah. So I think that's where it first clicked for me of like, this could be something more than just for fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second thing that happened that summer is like a TV company reached out to me and they wanted me to audition for a show. And that is a specific, I was on my couch and I got this email and I started getting like teary eyes and like a little shaky of like, what? Like that. I am just
somebody saw you
in a smoker house. Like I don't know about that, but that would be so fun. And so like I actually went through the audition process and like all the casting rounds, and the show got postponed. So those two things, I think that summer was very transformative of like, I could make money from this and this could open huge doors that like I would never have thought like were possible. And that's kind of like when I decided that I think I want to like invest my time in it more than I am now. And that's hard.
Yes.
Yeah, especially when you're working a full-time job too.
Yeah, and how much How much does your job know about what you do? Have you always just been really open and transparent with them and just been like, I'm not doing any of this during my work time. I just want you to know. Has there ever been a struggle there?
No, they've never asked me about that. And like my coworkers follow me. My manager, she knows that I do it. Like, I don't think she's really like on social media that much.
Okay.
But, so they've always been like interested in like the projects I'm doing and asked about that. But yeah, thankfully there's never been any like requirements of like, you need to stop this. Like if you want to keep working here or something like that. So that's
how many, so you obviously have a full-time job. Is that like a 40-hour-a-week job?
40 hours.
Or do you say it's more than that?
No, the regular job is just like 40 hours.
So then how much time are you spending on content creation a week on top of that?
Oh, probably at least 40 to 60.
Do you sleep a lot or no? Do you get minutes? Tell me like your normal, when you don't have a deadline.
Sure.
Like what time are you going to bed and what time are you getting up?
So I'm actually like, I would say when I first started was a lot like worse at this than I am now. But now I'm like a lot more efficient and like have kind of learned where to put my time. But I usually will wake up at 7 and then I work for 2 hours like on my DIY influencer stuff. And then I'll go to work. And then I always try to like at least have one friend thing a day. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
No, like that was something that when I decided like I want to do like that summer, like I want to do both.
Yeah.
But I don't want to sacrifice community because I was just moved and like I wanted to get set up and like was getting involved in like my church community and all this stuff. And like, I don't want to sacrifice that because that's so important to me.
It's so important to your well-being and your health and even the success of your business.
Yeah. So I always try to like, if somebody asks me to do something, like I'll usually say yes.
Okay.
And then after that, like I'll just work, I don't know, like till midnight or so. But, yeah. So I'm a good like 7 hours, you know.
Okay.
Just depends.
And you're young. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
I mean, that resonates with me because I didn't have a full-time job, but I was taking care of kids full-time. So there was like, job. It is a full-time job, but I didn't have like a boss being like, are you getting all your work done? Whatever. But I was keeping my children alive. So I guess that was my accountability. But I did have at first when you're learning how to edit those videos and stuff, there were nights that I stayed up all night just because I was like, I don't have any other time to do this. But it's like you learn how to become more efficient. So there are seasons where maybe you're not doing things like the healthiest, but you are training to be able to do them more efficiently.
Totally.
And I love that you saw success, but you were like, well, I'm going to just quit everything and put all my eggs in a basket.
Yes.
Oh, I sure wanted to.
Yeah. Like you're like, I have a mortgage. Like I have responsibilities. I can't just be like, well, I'm going to quit my job and just like hope that this works. And I feel like we have a little bit of an inside scoop because I don't know if you guys, I will let you guys know this, but I follow Dawson on his subscribers on IG. So he gives us insight. We give him a little fee and he gives us insight into his storytelling, how he does the things that he does. And he has been letting us know, hey guys, I'm trying to save up this nest egg that I have. Cause you have 2 properties now.
I do.
You have the smoker. He's moved off of the smoker house, rents that out. And he has a new property that's the 70s reno that is his new storytelling too. And he has been telling us like, if I get this amount of like egg nest, if I get this fund for like 6 months of, expenses, he's been saving up to be able to do that. If I can do that and I have this amount of deals booked, I'm going to quit my job and be a full-time content creator. And so he's been working up to that. And do you have any updates on that?
I do. I quit my job yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Is that crazy?
Proud of you.
Thank you.
So scary.
Oh my gosh.
And surreal.
Oh yeah. It's been like the craziest like God process.
Yeah.
For sure. But I felt so light after it. Just like,
oh, it's beautiful peace.
Yeah.
So
just
great.
so like
Peace.
at peace with it. And then later last night I was like, what did I do?
No, that's fear.
But,
We silenced that. We rebuked that.
So I called my manager and she was like super supportive and just like so pumped for me that I was gonna pursue this. And obviously she said she was really sad that I was leaving. But she told me to call like my work bestie right after to tell her one-on-one before like telling the rest of the team. And she's like, you can't stop smiling. Like, I'm so happy for you. Like, and so I think it went like as best as it could.
That's amazing. Well, I'm so excited because you just already make such great content and I can't imagine like how much more it can grow and just how much more you can do and encourage people with having more measure, having more gap to do that
for sure.
and not have to be like doing that 9 to 5 and just look at like, it's such an inspiration for just kids. I mean, you need to be going to high schools and colleges and talking about like, I just had this passion for film and just like, you need to tell that story. It's so important. And to show how it can become like a whole career and how you can do something that you love.
I think it makes so much sense too, kind of that you had such a passion for storytelling and now it's kind of what's made you successful, but in like this roundabout way, like how you thought, film, that was just a blip on the radar, but now you've kind of come full circle and that's organically like what you do, but not in such a straightforward way maybe. But I want to know now that you're going to have more capacity for DIY Dawson DIY. I got it backwards. What does the future look like for you? Like, are we going to see you on YouTube? Like, I guess tell us what are the dreams for your business?
That's a good question. I gotta think about it a little bit. I think the main difference, like in my life, will just be time. Like not. Just like more time to just like chill, honestly. So that's going to be like the biggest change.
You've earned it.
Thank you.
You've really earned it. I don't want you to feel like you have to get up and work from 9 to 5. I want you to realize that you can take days off and like go with your friends hiking.
That's the goal.
I don't know what they're doing, but like you can go up, and visit your family for a longer extended weekend and
take the random trip.
Like you've put in so much work and you've been so like just obedient and disciplined in it.
Thank you.
That like I do hope that you get some just like relief and a little bit of like freedom and enjoy like Selah. Just like enjoy resting and because you have worked so hard for the past couple of years.
Thank you. Yeah. I think the hardest thing for me right now is like feeling like split brain. Because it's like I have my regular job, and then while you're there, you're actively fighting, not thinking about everything else. And I know that's not going to go away because, like, obviously you always have multiple things going on in life. But I think it'll just be cool to focus all my energy in, like, creatively on, like, one thing. Because my job is very creative, too. Like, right now, like, it's a design job. So, like, I'm, like, using those skills there, too. But to answer your question, I think... So I started YouTube last summer after going to your talk at Haven. She was very encouraging to me, and I will never forget that. You can just make some
months on your content. You're making I will tell you all though that Dawson is making very good money on his brand partnerships. He does a very good job negotiating and finding the right partners to work with. So you're doing great, but I would love for you to be able to make money off of your content as well.
Oh yeah, that is definitely like one of my big goals. And I started it last August, but it's been kind of just one of those things that it's have to keep like pushing to the side because like you said, it's not my primary source of income at the moment.
It's a long what's the word, long game, is that what they call it? It's a long game, like you're not going to see return on the investment right away.
So I've started with that 70s reno. Like that was kind of my goal when I started this house, was like, okay, I'm going to be on YouTube, and I've posted a few episodes from it, but I'm behind. So I think YouTube is definitely like one of the things I want to focus on a little bit more hardcore now that I have more time. And then my website, I want to take like all of my user experience design skills and apply them to this space. And it's like something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, but it's like, when
am I going to do that?
And that's, it's like something that I had to cut for a long time. So I'm pumped, and I have like a lot of ideas on what to do in that space. So we'll see.
Okay, cool. Well, and we're going to get personal now, and you don't have to answer questions if you don't want to.
Okay.
But like, we're moms and we're wives. And so that is like a huge part of like what our capacity. And it's like, do you have dreams to have a family? Is that something that you're thinking about? And like, do you feel like having more time maybe to like invest in relationships, do you feel like you haven't had any time to do that? There's a funny joke about Charlotte on
we love her.
We love Charlotte. And us followers are like, is Charlotte real? I think she's real. Wait, no, she fake. I don't know. So just speak to that like a little bit, just about how, I don't know, just dreams you have personally outside of business and all of that.
Okay, Charlotte is not real. I just want to clarify that.
You broke it here.
No, No, she might be.
She might be out there.
No, that's definitely like one of the things that I'm like so excited about now that I downsized. It's just like having space to pursue relationships like that. I would love to have a family one day. And I'm taking time to like take some classes over the next like 9 months, and so I'm really pumped about like personal development in that way. And then like I would love to pursue family someday too, but it's just not been something that I felt like I could give my all.
And you're young, you got time, and like whoever you end up being with is going to be a very lucky person because you have not only one property, but you have 2 properties.
I know.
You've shown that you can hold down 2 jobs at one time. I mean, prime real estate. So I would put your phone number on here for everybody. But I think that audience is a little old for you. But maybe they have, they have kids, right?
Kids, sisters.
Oh man, that's happened before in my DMs.
Oh, wow.
Really?
People are like, I think you'd be a good fit for my daughter, and like, my DMs
Have you
are
ever
wild.
entertained any of these, or are you just like, that's too much, I don't have time for that?
No. And I was like, this is like a little odd too.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like there's so much I could talk to you about. Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you. This is something that we talked about because we're at Haven, and Haven has been always really female dominated.
Yes.
I feel like every year there's more and more men. So I kind of wanted you to speak to like, your first time at Haven was last year. You're back again this year. So obviously you see some type of benefit in it.
Yeah.
Can you speak to being like basically a minority at this conference and like how you navigate that? And it's even in your brand deals, do you feel like, oh, I stand out in this way or have this to offer? Just speak to that a little bit about that.
Like in brand deals, I've had them even ask me like, do you know other guys?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look, there's opportunity out there for guys who are interested.
But it's very interesting because I feel like it depends on like the platform that you're on too.
Okay.
Because YouTube, there's so many guys.
Yeah.
Right.
Like there's so many woodworkers and construction people and whatever, but on Instagram and TikTok, not as much.
You're right.
And I don't know why that is. So it's weird. Like some places I feel like, like I'm like one of the only few guys that I know here. But then on YouTube, it's like, okay, you're part of a crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's so interesting because we've wondered that about like, do they specifically be like, we're looking for more men? And it's so interesting because what you do is, I mean, you're renovating whole houses.
Yeah, doing drywall.
I mean, that seems
trying.
like, I mean, I feel like your stuff that you do is so broad. I think it gives you a lot of opportunities to work with a bunch of different brands, and you've worked with some big brands.
Yeah, I've been so fortunate to like be seen by these brands or like seen my value, and I think it's really fun. So I think that's something that helps me is like when a brand can tell that like you're engaged with it and like you're like really not like you're selling it. Like you're not just like phoning it in, like, and then they want to come back and then they want to work with you.
And you can write your own scripts. And I think that's big. And when you can speak to it in your own voice and they don't have to like make a lot of changes, or they know if they give you just like parameters that you're going to just nail it. I mean, not everybody is a good writer, if that makes sense. We had
your delivery is very natural and not salesy.
Yeah,
I think
some people don't know how to do that, and some people just like read off of talking points.
Can I tell you a secret?
Yeah.
Do
you use AI?
No, I usually just turn the recorder on, and then I just see what falls out of my mouth.
Really?
And then I send it in.
Off the cuff?
Yeah.
I'm off the cuff too.
I think that's how you get more natural.
Yeah.
Like if it's helpful to start out with like maybe some talking points and stuff, but you've got to say it like a human.
Right.
If it doesn't
I
sound
put
like
lots of likes and ums in there.
No, but like breaks in your like that's what people are used to hearing every day from their friends. And so like if you go online and then you hear something that sounds like an AI wrote it.
See, I'm glad you don't use AI then. See? AI. You need to be a human.
Yeah.
So I have written down here that you're up to over 470,000 on TikTok, close to 150,000 on Instagram. And on Instagram, are you just repurposing your TikToks, or do you tweak them at all?
They're usually the same.
They're usually the same.
Video.
I do the same.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. Isn't that funny? And like I was really doing well on IG, and not doing well on TikTok, but I'm just like,
really?
I have the content, so I'm just going to keep putting it up on TikTok because I don't follow the trends and I don't do the.
Sure, I
just
either.
don't know how to do the TikTok stuff. But I kept putting my IG content up there, and it just like eventually took off.
Yeah.
And I still feel like I do better on IG. I think my audience, I'm just more built for IG than I am for TikTok. But I like that you've built almost 150,000 people and you're just putting up what you put up on TikTok.
Yeah, it's actually weird. Like, I kind of think Instagram first and then TikTok second.
Really?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't
Now
that
you do?
Weird? Yeah.
That is weird.
It's
Because
super weird.
I just think of you as such a TikToker. Because you're one of the only people that I used to like watch on TikTok.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they just like
Yeah.
served you up to me. I'm like, oh, I like him. And then I would watch your whole videos. And so then I just would see
Oh,
your
that's
videos
cool.
all the time.
I didn't know that.
So like when I met you last year, I was like fangirling a little bit. I'm like, hi, Dawson.
Oh my gosh,
nice
that's so
to
fun.
But so with your size now, I would assume you started out doing all your deals and pitching. Are you working with a talent agent, or do you have an agency that you're working
I'm
with?
not.
Or you're
I just do it myself.
You're still doing it yourself?
Yeah.
Good
Dawson,
for you.
that's amazing.
Is it?
Have people pursued you to try to sign you?
Yeah, I get the occasional
Okay.
like random email. I'm just like so scared.
Yeah.
And I would love to like have someone that helps pitch me, but I don't even pitch myself these days. So like, I don't really know how that works. So I'm trying to get better at it. Like, I've actually like tried a few times this summer.
Okay.
But that was kind of just where I was in life. Like, I had the full-time job.
Yeah.
And so I was able to be pretty selective with the
Yeah.
brands that I wanted to work
Yeah.
with. And then also like, it was kind of just like, okay, if it comes, it comes. And then like, if I want to do it, I will. If I don't, I won't. But yeah, I don't really have that much experience with pitching, but I think
Okay.
it would be helpful.
Okay, cool. Well, I know somebody that can help you out. We'll have a discussion with her after the podcast. But so we always just do a time with our guests where we just kind of like to honor them and just like speak
Yes.
encouragement over them. And it's been so fun to hear your story. And I think I just know why I like following you and why I followed you in the first place. You're just like, you are a light.
Oh,
You're
thank
just
you.
a
Yes.
light to people. It shines through in your content. You can tell that you love what you do, and you're just so kind. And I think that's probably why these brands love you too, is just there's
you.
just something about you. And I love that you have just been yourself and you've been a good steward with what God has given you.
Thank
And I
you.
think he's just going to continue to bless that. And just your hard work ethic to own 2 homes at your age, to like be working 2 full-time jobs. Like, I
Yeah.
just want you to know that I see a lot of like teenagers and young people, and it's rare.
Yes.
And I just think it's such an encouragement out there to any young people that like you can create your own life. Like, you don't have to wait for somebody else to do it. And
Yes.
just, I don't know what else you have, but it's just,
thank
I could
you.
just
I
keep
just
going on.
think like the wisdom that you have shown in growing your business and creating content is just, I think it's really special. And I think
Thank you.
people feel like you're their friend because you're just you're relatable. And I don't know, I think people feel connected to you because of the way you tell a story, because you don't seem like you're putting on a show for social media. You're not, I don't know, there's just something different, and people I think
you.
feel a connection. And you're also just super fun, like in
Yeah.
the way you create and present your content. It's funny,
Funny,
to
yeah.
watch.
Thank you.
Like, I love it. Even just how you have sort of created different storylines, like the smoker house, that 70s reno, like that is unique, I think, in
you.
the world of content creation, and especially DIY. And I love how you like look at a challenge and you're like, I'm going to figure it out. Like, this drywall is so hard, but I'm going to figure it out. And I just think that's super fun, and
you.
one reason I enjoy watching your content. So I just wish you all the success
Thank you so
in
much.
the years to come in your business and the new journey of being able to do it full time.
Thank you.
I just hope you get to connect with your friends and community in such a
And find the
neat
real
way. Yes.
Hey, Charlotte.
Hey, Charlotte, hit me up.
That you get rest in a
Yeah.
new season. And
Thank you.
Beautiful.
yeah,
It's
thank
super
you for being
encouraging.
here.
I struggled a lot, like when I first started with just being myself online, and actually got like a comment one time of like, you sound like you're crying in your voiceovers. And I was like, I'm not. But I was like trying to be normal. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always been pretty self-conscious and like about my voice and looks and whatever. And like, I was trying to tone myself down. And
Okay.
like after that comment, I was like, who cares?
Yes.
And then-
Good for
and then
you.
that was like,
Come on. That's
I
so
was
good.
like spring 2021, and then last fall I got like a hate comment from someone saying like, it sounds like you're smiling when you're talking. That's like annoying or something. And I was like, I've done it. I've gone the other way.
Yes.
So yeah,
That's
thank you.
amazing. Well, let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh yes,
Before we go.
I am on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube as Dawson DIY, and you can also find me on my website dawsondiy.com, and I'm going to be revamping that over this next year. So lots of
exciting.
cool
If you
stuff coming
guys
there.
are not following Dawson yet,
You need
have to
to
be
be.
following him. I'm sorry,
Thanks.
I cut you off a little bit. Did you have anything else you wanted to say?
No, that was it.
I'm an interrupter. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for taking
Yes,
your
thank
time off
you.
to be here with us. I hope you have a great weekend. It was so fun having you
Thank
in
you for
person.
having me.
And
Yes.
we hope that we can come tour the Smoker House and the 70s
Yes.
Reno one
Yes,
day. I've never
yes.
been to Austin, so I would love to come down and
Yes.
see it.
It's an awesome place. Anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here, you guys.
Yes.
Thanks for joining us in the Cypress Room. This is our last podcast from Haven, so we'll be
Yes, it
back
is.
in the Cypress Room next time. We hope you guys join us there. If you have any questions for Dawson or us, leave them down in the comments, and we'll see you next time in the Cypress Room.
See you next time.
Bye,
ya.
guys.